So today I have the setup to image the moon. As you can see, I have the moon in the image. I'm using my SCT 178 MC camera and the mount tracking, so it keeps the moon in the field of view. You can also do untracked, but tracking is that much better. And basically I'm gonna show you how to find the moon. Basically you have to find it. You need to make sure your finder scope is properly aligned first with the moon up there, but preferably you align it with somewhere in the distance, like that building there, and you make sure that when you see the building here, you see the building at the eyepiece or camera in this case. And with these small chip cameras it can be difficult to find the moon, but once you find it, it will get easy. And then when you find the moon, next step is focusing. Most probably when you find the moon it will be overexposed like this, completely blown out. So what you need to do is you need to adjust the exposure and gain. These settings normally work for me, like 100 something gain, but as it gets dark, at the moment it's not very dark. Oh, it's not dark at all actually. When it gets dark you have to lower these. Right now the optimum gain is around 150 and 12 milliseconds, and use RAW 8, not RAW 16, for planetary imaging and the moon. And now I connected the telescope. It's, as I shown in other videos, I didn't do any alignment, nothing. Just I connected it and I went to star, solar system, moon, and point and track. That's it. When you find the moon, do those steps. Don't use the linear, the lunar mode. Doesn't work well, I found. I don't know why. They say when you find the moon you use that mode, but for me it doesn't work well, doesn't track good. And not even, to be honest, not even in this mode is tracking good, because it's not aligned. To do this properly you have to align with some star, so it tracks better, but you know, it's tracking decently, I guess. Okay, now that you find the moon, as you can see, it's only 2 frames per second. This is a problem when you image these objects like the moon and the planets. You need high frames per second to overcome the atmosphere. So what you do is go to capture area and lower it, like 1280 times 1/4. And what this does is it only uses a small part of the sensor, and as you can see the frames per second went up, not by much, but it went up. And to be honest, this laptop is slow, so that's why it's not the best. If you use a better laptop it will be even better. But this, you can see some cool magnified shots of the moon. And when you're ready, press start capture and start. And this is capturing frames now, and later we will stack these frames, so they will be awesome. We'll get and as you can see the atmosphere is very stable today. It's not wobbling a lot. If it's wobbling a lot it means the atmosphere is not good. And you may be asking, how much frames do I capture? 1000 maybe. In this case I'm not gonna grab that much because I don't have a lot of disk space at the moment. So I'm gonna grab 500 and that's it. And when you use small capture area, it will make the size of the files very much smaller. And at the moment, RAW 8 means you are imaging in black and white, and you need to debayar the frames later when we put them in PIPP and Autostakkert. So keep that in mind. If you see a black and white image, don't freak out. It's normal with RAW 8. I'm moving the buttons. I'm gonna image this part of the moon, the lower part. You can also do a mosaic in this mode, like take loads of stacks of parts of the moon and combine them later in a mosaic, so you get a high resolution photo. And as I'm not properly aligned, you need to keep messing around. And I already took shots of this area, so I'm gonna move a bit to this side. And when you are moving, you need to give the mount time to stabilize, so the backlash goes away. But it's really cool to image the moon this way. I'm gonna press start capture. And it's now taking lots of images of this area, and later we will stack them, which means we'll be able to see through the atmosphere. Imaging this zoomed in is a problem, as you can see, especially when you're not aligned. But that's it. You can take quick shots. The telescope is well collimated, as you can see. It's very sharp, the image, and it's important to collimate your telescope. I have a video about collimating a Cassegrain before starting, so you won't get blurry shots. And the moon is at the perfect phase today. It's at the half phase. The half phase is the best for taking moon photos. And that's it. I will show you the stacking part later. Okay, I went to Sharpcap captures folder in the desktop, find today's date, and I have 3 videos that I took. And open PIPP software. You can Google this and download it. And I'm gonna put one of them here. Okay, I think it's debayed already. And well, for this we press solar lunar close-up, as it's a close-up of the moon. I'm gonna drag this box over these 3 craters so it will focus on them more. Put options, debayed monochrome frames. Okay, it's debayed. Processing, remove the convert color to monochrome, as this will turn it black and white. And press test options. Okay, it's good. When you see RGB here, okay, it's in color. Sometimes it says grayscale. If it's grayscale, it's in black and white. Should be self-explanatory. Output options, leave everything as it is and start processing. And this will take some time. Okay, now PIPP has done its job and we move to Autostakkert 4. You can find this on Google as well. And PIPP will do a file where you had the images, and you need to put that video that it did in Autostakkert. And you put the video in Autostakkert, select surface. I'm gonna put the box, control plus click on these craters here, and press analyze, and it will start analyzing the data that we have before stacking. The speed depends on the computer you have. If you have a very fast computer, it will go by very quickly. In this case, my computer is not very fast. Number of frames to stack, press how much you want. I normally use 30, 40 or 50. Sorry, not number of frames, percentage of frames you need to select. Frame percentage. And select 104. For the moon you don't need small boxes, and plus place AP grid. But for the planets you may need small boxes. And press stack. And it will start stacking. And again, it all depends on the speed of your computer, how much this takes. Normally it doesn't take very much, but when you have a very high detailed mosaic of the moon, like a big moon photo, it will take a lot of time, yes. In this case we are only imaging a part of the moon, so it's not that doesn't take a lot of time. And it's ready. Okay, it's ready, and the stacked final stack will come here, AS/_40, and it did this is the result before sharpening. As you can see, it's very detailed already. I love it. And next stage is Registax software. Registax is here. We'll open it, and now what this does is it will sharpen the result that we got. I'm gonna open the file again because by mistake I closed the folder. Put it in Registax, press yes, and now we need to carefully use these sliders. Now the thing here is to avoid over sharpening and sharpen good, but at the same time avoid over sharpening. What you need, don't use the default wavelets. This one, use the Gaussian wavelets. They're a lot better. And linear. Avoid using the first slider because it's very noisy when you use that. And like, this is trial and error. So like, start sliding the sliders, and when you start seeing over sharpening, back them off. And you can zoom in on the image as well. As you can see, it is over sharpening a bit here, and you can use view zoomed to zoom on a part of the moon. This is very helpful. As you can see, it's zooming in on these craters, and you have the denoise and sharpen. like you can slightly denoise as well and sharpen at the same time. And the denoise obviously will take noise away. I think I'm gonna back them off a bit, the sliders, because the lower sliders are less noisy to the image, but they're all needed because they all have a specific sharpening function. But normally I sharpen more the bottom wavelets than the upper ones. The upper ones bring the image very noisy. I'm gonna denoise a bit as well. And when you think you are ready, press do all, and that will do the sharpening to all of the image. And it's good, but I can still see some noise. I'm gonna denoise a bit more. Press do all again. And the color is pretty good at the moment. I think I'm not gonna touch the colors, because if you want to touch the colors, go to RGB balance and press auto balance. As you can see, it's good balanced. Like, so you will be wondering, what does over sharpening look like? I'm gonna go crazy to show you. This is over sharpening. Like, okay, you can see a lot of details, but you can also see a lot of noise. I think I'm gonna sharpen a bit more though, because I think it needs it. And I'm gonna denoise as well. You have to balance between sharpening and denoising. Press the wall again, and I think this is my final image. I'm happy with this. You can see there's a lot of details, and I'm happy with this. I'm gonna do RGB balance just for the fun of it, so I see if there's any difference. Very slightly, but I did it anyway, so I'm sure it's balanced. You can also touch the contrast and brightness, but you have to be careful with these, because they will brighten the image a lot sometimes. If you have chromatic aberration, you can also use RGB align and press estimate, and you draw a box where you think there's chromatic aberration. And as you can see, these boxes are like buffering. If you have a fast computer, this will be instant, not like this. Okay, this is the final image. As you can see, it's very, very good. I'm gonna put the final image at the end of this video. And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and press thumbs up. It really helps me a lot with the algorithm. And I will see you in the next video. Until the next time, clear skies.